Episode 5 of Critical Role Campaign 4 was the first one we saw post Overture, but was it any good? That's what we're talking about in this video. I'm going to review episode 5, share my thoughts on it, talk about some of the big moments, the down moments, all of that stuff. So if you have not seen episode 5 and you don't want spoilers, you do not want to watch the rest of this, so now's your chance to turn away. But before we get into that review, if you like Critical Role, Dungeons & Dragons, or other nerd culture content, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below to help me in the algorithm and get more of me in yours. Now let's talk episode 5. So one of the first things to discuss is that it was a little bit of a bait and switch, but it's not really their fault. So in the cooldown for episode 3, he basically tells the soldiers, you're off next week, but then we're gonna come back to start your main story. Now I know we did do that, but we were also kind of told that after this, all the tables would be split after the Overture. Of course, episode 4 seems to have run longer than they thought. The combat went maybe longer than Brennan thought, and so they called it before they were able to do that. So in episode 5, we did end up getting the 8 other players back all together at the same table, where we worked through the reasons for splitting off and creating the Seekers and the Schemers. This part was a little odd because they had already revealed that. Like in their marketing and stuff, they were like, hey, here are the tables. And so you're watching it knowing who's going where, even though at the table they're kind of like, oh, well, should I go here and should I go with those people? And yeah, you're getting to see their thought processes, which is cool. But it was kind of like you got to look behind the curtain before you actually got to see how it all played out. So that one brings it down a little bit for me. During that though, I did really enjoy a couple of moments. One being when Azune kind of came up and addressed Julian and tried to bring him out of this and revealed that he knows something about Julian from back in the day, but he's willing to, if Julian will try to trust the rest of them, he's willing to tell Julian's story if that ever comes to light versus what he really knows. So now I'm very curious about that. And of course, I love that when he's all talking and Julian is like,
who are you?
Fantastic, loved that. Overall, that section did tie up some loose ends and give goals for where these groups are going. Then we really got to dig into the soldiers, which is our first main group going out of the city, right? They have left the gates and they were going on this journey to try to find Sid, Teor's brother, and Casimir, the one that appears to be the culprit behind Thiazi's escape plan going south. Overall, I really enjoyed a lot of elements of this, like a lot of it, but it did feel fast. And I think maybe that's because they did have to add in the other 8 people section in this, which took up a good chunk, just under half of the episode. So maybe it was like, okay, we're gonna have to progress a little bit faster to keep us on track with where we want to be at some point. Because again, this is a show, they have producers and things, and they somewhat probably have a little bit of a timeline as to, in Brennan's head, I need to be here at this point. So I think, because I saw that in my post-show discussion, which I do every Friday, the day after the show, we do a live, and a lot of people were saying the same thing, like it felt very fast. And that's why I think that was, but that is of course speculation. Other than it being fast, I enjoyed all the characters we were introduced to. Abelang, which was the guy that was in the cage that they engaged with, Olbred, which was the old gnome man, and his daughters, that was fantastic. Even the fairy that Thimble ran into, I thought was really cool. It had its cute moments. It just, all of the elements of them traveling were really cool. It just felt really fast. And it lacked combat. Like, you know, we were told how dangerous the world is, and even Cadigan was like, oh, it's dangerous out there, you know? And then you go out there and it's like, oh, that's cute, that's cute, oh, that's fun, and it's, where's the danger? Like, they didn't run into any danger. But the humor was there. It felt good that a lot of these players seem to have let loose a little bit now that they're out of the city. They've moved away from this whole very somber funeral, the friend who died, you know, those, they got loose. Like, there was a lot more humor and stuff amongst the cast, maybe not necessarily in their characters, but amongst the cast, it felt like they loosened up a bit, which I really enjoyed seeing. Sam continues to nail it as Vikander. There were just fantastic moments all throughout with his shoes, with him being like, oh, I think that went well. And they were like, you were terrible. Like, these moments, I laughed out loud several times throughout all of this. I think they did a great job. Brennan, of course, delivering with all the speculation about Olbred and his daughters, and like, well, why does he have toys, and why is he lighting that beacon, and what does this sign say? And then it turns out that he's just some sad little gnome man. I did a whole video about that, so go check that out if you haven't already. But I loved that, and it showed again a different side of the world. Right now, all we've had is like, there's bad around every corner, everything seems to be going to crap, and then you get a cute little old man who just really wants his kids back, right? Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to getting a full episode with just one group. But for what it was, this I enjoyed, I think, more than a lot of the overture. We had a lot of huge moments in the overture, like just massive reveals. So this one felt empty in that regard. We didn't get as many massive reveals, but it was still fun. And I enjoyed sticking with that. It did also tell me that I would be more open to like first half as one group, second half is another group. So it doesn't always have to be this sort of like one group only. I think I could deal with that because it wasn't too bad. But going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth throughout one single episode, maybe I don't think I would enjoy that as much. But this worked. We'll see how it is next week. We don't know if we're actually sticking with the soldiers or going somewhere else. I hope we stick with the soldiers. I want to kind of progress one story for a bit, and it seems like they're getting very close to Sid. So I would say I would rate this an 8.5. But what about you guys? Share your ratings down in the comments and why, of course, or any sort of opinions you have. And if you want more Critical Role, Dungeons & Dragons, and nerd culture content, once again, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below, even if it's just an emoji to help with the algorithm. If you want to support me making more content like this, consider becoming a member here on YouTube or subscribing to my Patreon, linked down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, good luck in your adventures.